Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. US begins crackdown on illegal immigrants. 538 people arrested, hundreds deported. Donald Trump says ready to meet Putin immediately to end the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Kremlin says Putin is also ready to talk to Trump and is waiting for word from Washington. Adds Ukraine conflict does not depend on oil prices. World Economic Forum draws to a close in Davos. President Borgebrende urges all to work together despite differences. India's IT minister highlights India's AI potential at the forum. And in the Australian Open, Yannick Sinner sets summit clash with Alexander Zverev after win in the semi-finals. The 55th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum, WEF, concludes on Friday with its final 15 sessions in Davos. The last day of the summit covered topics such as global development, the global economic outlook, digital infrastructure and democracy. Held under the theme Collaboration for the Intelligent Age, the meeting focused on rebuilding trust, reimagining growth, safeguarding the planet, industries in the intelligent age and investing in people. In the closing session, WEF President Borgebrende urged global leaders to work together despite their differences.
We all realize during this week that we came together in Davos at a time of immense consequence and uncertainty. Political, geopolitical and macroeconomic landscape all are shifting under our feet. At the very moment, the clock is quickly ticking down to meet critical political priorities. Driving economic growth, reducing carbon emissions, finding ways to end conflict, all cannot wait. And the only way to progress on these issues is by working together. But our cooperative approaches may need to adapt to a new, more uncertain era. There is a new political reality that we are faced with.
India's Railways and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav held a meeting with the Prime Minister of Bhutan, Tshering Tobgay, in Davos on Friday. Both the leaders discussed rail connectivity to Bhutan and IT services. Minister Vaishnav also held a discussion with a group of founders of AI startups, and he has also underscored that the focus and direction of India AI mission was well appreciated throughout WEF 2025 Davos. Laying out a vision for American economic prosperity, Trump promised global elites lower taxes if they bring manufacturing to the US and threatened to impose tariffs if they don't. He also assured incentivizing companies to facilitate business in the US. He thus laid out a carrot and stick approach for private investment in the US to strengthen their economy.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt.
Amid Trump's tariff row, World Trade Organization chief has said that the trade wars would have catastrophic consequences for global growth. At the World Economic Forum session on trade, WTO chief urged states to refrain from retaliation.
If we have tit-for-tat retaliation, whether it's 25%, tariff 60%, and we go to where we were in the 1930s, we're going to see double-digit global GDP losses. Double digit. That's catastrophic. Everyone will pay. Everyone. and the poor countries will pay even more.
U.S. President Donald Trump's press secretary has said that the U.S. authorities arrested 538 migrants and deported hundreds in a mass operation just days into Trump's second administration. Trump promised a crackdown on illegal immigration during the election campaign and began his second term with a flurry of executive actions aimed at overhauling entry into the United States. New York Mayor Ross J. Baraka condemned an immigration and customs enforcement raid that detained undocumented residents and citizens without a warrant, while Congress passed a bill expanding pre-trial incarceration for foreign criminal suspects. Trump's second term began with executive actions on immigration, including a national emergency at the southern border and more troop deployments. Still with the U.S., the Leak-and-Riley Act, aimed at addressing crimes committed by illegal immigrants in the U.S., is now headed to President Donald Trump's desk for signing. Speaker Mike Johnson on Thursday signed the bill, which had passed through the U.S. Congress with bipartisan support. The House of Representatives approved the legislation on January 22nd by a vote of 263 to 156, with 46 Democrats joining, 217 Republicans in favor. The Senate had previously approved the bill, ensuring its passage despite opposition. The bill, which requires the detention of undocumented immigrants accused of theft, including of shoplifting, will be the first of several steps by Republicans to tighten border security in 2025. Dozens of migrants were returned from the United States to Mexico on Thursday to the border town of Ciudad Juarez, where they were greeted by people disguised as angels, demanding protection for migrants. Meanwhile, Mexican soldiers rushed to set up emergency shelters near the border with the United States on Thursday. The Mexican government said that it planned to open 9 shelters for its citizens and 3 more for deported foreigners. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted in an at-home event with tribal guests, NCC cadets, NSS volunteers, Rashtriya Rangshala camp artists and tableau artists who would be part of the upcoming Republic Day Parade. The Republic Day Parade 2025 will be a unique blend of India's cultural diversity and military prowess, with special focus on 75 years of the enactment of the Indian Constitution and Jan Bhagidari, people's participation. This year, 31 tableaus from various states, union territories and central government ministries will participate, showcasing the theme Swarnim Bharat Virasat aur Vikas. Doordarshan, the public broadcaster of India, has made special arrangements for the live coverage of Republic Day Parade on 26 January. Information and Broadcasting Ministry visited the site at Kartavya Path in Delhi to take stock of the arrangements. DD India's Vishal Barristow brings us more.
India is all set to celebrate Republic Day Parade on January 26th. The day marks the adoption of India's constitution and the country's transition to a republic on January 26, 1950. The grand celebration will showcase country's cultural diversity and military strength, with a special focus on the 75th anniversary of the enactment of Indian Constitution and the theme of Jan Bhagidari, which means people's participation. 2 tableaux during the parade will showcase the celebration of 75 years of Constitution. Floral decorations, view cutters will be depicting the theme. Balloons at the end of the program will be released with the banner of this message. The chief guest for the parade will be Prabowo Subianto, President of Republic of Indonesia. The parade will feature a 160-member marching contingent and 190-member band from Indonesia, joining Indian Armed Forces contingents on Kartavya Path in national capital, New Delhi. India's public broadcaster Doordarshan will telecast the entire event live for viewers across the globe. More than 50 cameras have already been set up for the mega event.
So the entire team of Prasar Bharati, both Doordarshan as well as All India Radio, and their all the constituent units, officers, staff, personnel, all of them have been working tirelessly to ensure that the telecast and the radio cast of this very important, the most important event of our country happens smoothly.
The event would be covered in 4K format and would also be aired on Doordarshan's OTT platform Waves.
Each time we try to do something better, something which has not been attempted in the past. So one of the things that we are doing this year on the Doordarshan coverage is that we are deploying full 4K cameras, where for the last 10 years we had been doing an HD coverage. But now in terms of the picture quality, this is going to be about 8 times better compared to previous years.
The parade commences at the iconic Raisina Hill near the Rashtrapati Bhavan or President's House and makes its way along Kartavya Path past India Gate and concludes at the historic Red Fort. Each state will present its beautifully decorated tableau, showcasing its unique culture and traditions, truly embodying the spirit of Jan Bhagidari. From traditional dances to elaborate floral decorations, every element speaks volumes about unity that binds us despite our diversity. Along with Doordarshan, the All India Radio would also air live broadcast of the event. Vishal Baristow's report for GD India.
And next we take a look at other stories making news across the world. Storm Eowyn brought record high winds to Ireland and Northern Ireland on Friday, leaving 560,000 homes and businesses without power. The storm forced flight cancellations, school closures and distortions to public transport. Authorities had warned it could be one of the most dangerous storms in years. Increased air pollution in Thailand forced the closure of more than 350 schools on Friday as Bangkok was ranked the world's 7th most polluted major city. Thailand usually suffers from seasonal air pollution. Cuba has opened its first grocery store accepting US dollars in nearly 2 decades. This move reflects a growing trend towards dollarization on the island, where the economy is struggling. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. International Conference on Global Election Year 2024 concludes with the adoption of the Delhi Declaration. And Indian cricketers Jasprit Bumrah, Ravindra Jadeja and Yashasvi Jaiswal have been named in the ICC Men's Test Team of the Year 2024.
उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
रिटायरमेंट प्लानिंग के लिए तेरा एसआईपी के बारे में क्या ख्याल है? रिटायरमेंट अभी तो पूरी लाइफ बाकी है यार। और तुझे नहीं लगता अगर रिटायरमेंट के बारे में अभी से नहीं सोचे तो आगे जाके प्रॉब्लम होगी?
पर रिटायरमेंट के बारे में सोचना क्यों है इतना जरूरी? जब तक आप रिटायर हो जाएंगे महंगाई काफी ज्यादा बढ़ जाएगी और आपकी इनकम वो तो रुक ही जाएगी। इसीलिए आज ही म्यूचुअल फंड्स में एसआईपी शुरू कीजिए और हर महीने थोड़ा थोड़ा करके धन इकट्ठा कीजिए एक कंफर्टेबल रिटायर्ड लाइफ जीने के लिए। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने वित्तीय सलाहकार से परामर्श करें। LIC म्यूचुअल फंड द्वारा निवेशक शिक्षा की एक पहल। म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिम के अधीन है। योजना से संबंधित सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. New Delhi will host the India Energy Week 2025 from February 11th to 14th, 2025 at Yashobhumi in Dwarka. India Energy Week 2025 promises unparalleled global participation from ministers, CEOs and industry leaders setting new benchmarks in the energy sector. The event will feature over 500 speakers, see participation from 20 plus foreign energy ministers or deputy ministers, along with heads of international organizations and 90 CEOs from Fortune 500 energy companies. This reflects India's rising influence in shaping the global energy transition dialogue. Speaking at the curtain raiser event of the upcoming India Energy Week, India's Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, Hardeep Singh Puri, said that the event will be the second largest energy event globally in terms of participation, exhibition space and number of sessions.
I can say that today, when we are going into the third edition, we can say with confidence that it's the second largest platform on energy-related issues worldwide.
The inaugural session of the first Technology Dialogue 2025 was held in Bengaluru in the South Indian state of Karnataka on Friday. The event will work as a platform for discussions on India's technology domain and important policy developments. The event saw a keynote address by Minister of State of the Ministry of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh. Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, Ajay Kumar Sood, highlighted Indian government's initiatives to strengthen India's research and development ecosystem. Other dignitaries included Deputy National Security Advisor Pawan Kapoor and biopharmaceutical firm Biocon's Executive Chairperson Kiran Majumdar-Shaw. Following the conclusion of the international conference titled Global Election Year 2024, Reiteration of Democratic Spaces, Key Takeaways for EMBs, the heads and representatives of election management bodies, EMBs of countries of the world also adopted Delhi Declaration 2025. They declared and resolved to remain ever committed to transparent and credible and inclusive polls and to election integrity. Also, it was committed that they will never succumb to any undue pressure or influence, that they will steadfastly guard the integrity and purity of the list of electors while making sure that no eligible citizen is disenfranchised, that they will keep their undiluted focus on the centrality of the voter and their rights in election space and do everything in their means to facilitate them in the electoral process. Also, it was decided that proactive interventions of voter education and electoral participation will be taken up for increased registration and turnout of voters. Also, a determined fight to keep the election process free, fair and transparent will be engaged. Robust judicial mechanisms must be put in place to deal with post-election grievances. To pursue the path of technological integration and innovation to make the operations more efficient and effective, it was decided to vigorously resist all fake narratives that may be created to undermine the electoral process. And more specifically, a working group will be constituted of all willing EMBs worldwide for dealing with issues of social media, artificial intelligence and cyber security. India will observe 15th National Voters' Day on January 25th to mark the foundation day of the Election Commission of India. The Election Commission also celebrates 75 years of its dedicated service to the nation. Let's now listen to India's Chief Election Commissioner's message on the eve of National Voters' Day.
Namaskar. Greetings to all voters on the eve of the 15th National Voters' Day. This year, National Voters' Day is particularly special as the Election Commission completes 75 years of dedicated service to this great nation. National Voters' Day is not just an occasion to celebrate the inception of the Election Commission of India, but also an opportunity to honor the very spirit of democracy embodied by every voter. In 2024, the world witnessed the grand spectacle of India creating a world record of 64.6 crore voters exercising their franchise in the Lok Sabha elections. The elections saw another heartening milestone in which women with a 65.78% turnout took the lead and participated more than male voters with a turnout of 65.5%. The elections were more inclusive than ever before. We witnessed a 46% increase in registrations amongst persons with disabilities as compared to the previous general elections. Registration of third gender electors almost doubled in these elections. Our elderly voters aged above 85 years and PWD voters were facilitated with the option of voting from the comfort of their homes. These elections witnessed nearly zero repolls and violence was kept at bay, even in states where it was prevalent. In Jammu and Kashmir, the solid foundation of democratic participation led during the Lok Sabha elections was further strengthened and transformed into a magnificent edifice of a peaceful, progressive and vibrant democratic ethos. The long queues of voters at the polling stations, patiently waiting with a glint of hope in their eyes, represented the democratic essence of our nation. Similarly, in the Naxal-affected areas of Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, voters echoed the spirit of democracy witnessed in the rest of the country. Voters silenced the sounds of bullets and calls for boycotts with a determined resolve to cast their vote. In many LWE areas, villagers voted for the first time at polling stations in their own villages. Voters are the ultimate custodians of our democracy. Their awareness and wisdom are the force behind our democracy. I salute the sagacity and intelligence of the Indian voters. Along with voters, I also thank the entire election machinery, the polling personnel, security forces and other staff for keeping our democracy on the rails. They play a pivotal role in ensuring that the elections happen with perfection, precision and peacefully. Friends, today we are witnessing across the globe an era of polarized campaigns during elections, possibilities of external interference and growing challenges in cybersecurity space. Misinformation and fake narratives spread instantaneously and with alarming speed. A dangerous trend is emerging where baseless allegations are made against the election process that could damage the confidence of the voters and the national fabric. On social media, algorithms are designed in a way that content is aligned with whatever is viewed and thus viewpoints get hardened without adequate exposure to the other side of the argument. Friends, democracy belongs to all of us. Indian democracy is our shared heritage, nurtured and strengthened over the past 75 years, a legacy in which voters rightfully takes pride. This legacy is proudly shared by political parties who, after voters, are critical stakeholders in strengthening democracy. It is everybody's duty that election campaigns are not disruptive or divisive and unfounded narratives are not built, as it tends to disillusion and distance our youth from the electoral process. Today, India stands proud as the world's largest and most diverse democracy. For us, in Election Commission of India, trust and transparency are two sides of the same coin. It fills us with immense pride that the number of voters in our country have now crossed 99 crores. We are almost on the verge of becoming a nation of 1 billion voters soon. Our achievements in securing high voter turnout in recent years have been heartening, hitting the 65% mark in the last 3 national elections. However, we still have a distance to cover. I call upon all eligible citizens to register as voters without fail and vote in each election. A special appeal to voters in towns and cities and to the forward-looking community of the youth to take sincere interest in electoral participation and come out to vote. Once again, I extend my warm wishes on this occasion of National Voters' Day, which is a reminder for all of us of our responsibility in upholding democracy in our country. Jai Hind.
So India's National Voters' Day is tomorrow, 25th of January, and on 26th of January, India will celebrate its Republic Day. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted in an at-home event with tribal guests, NCC cadets, NSS volunteers, Rashtriya Rangshala camp artists, and all those tableau artists who would be a part of the upcoming Republic Day parade on Sunday. The Republic Day Parade 2025 will be a unique blend of India's cultural diversity and military prowess, with special focus on 75 years of the enactment of the Indian Constitution and Jan Bhagiyadari. So here we see on our screens all the people who are involved in this grand parade of India are interacting with the Prime Minister of the country. So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and the world on our DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And also you can follow us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.